Hey everybody, this is Hawk with Fanatics and the Fan, and we are out here at Tremendicon for 2023. Fanatics and Fan, big supporters of any local convention, local events, and I'm proud to have a good friend of mine. He is a Brandon Shane Pop Culture Icon Award winner. He is arguably one of the most knowledgeable comic book nerds in the Southwest Missouri area, and a very good friend. And we talked nerd last night.
We did, yes.
You were telling me about a childhood memory about you in comics last night.
I was?
Yes. Yeah, back in the dark ages, when candlelight comic books was a real thing, wasn't it, Josh?
Oh, yes. Are you talking about the story I was telling about going with my dad?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah. So I used to. My dad, when he would go gas up his truck, I'd go with him to this particular gas station, and they always had a newsstand with comics on there, and I loved going with him because they had Savage Sword of Conan and Heavy Metal and all kinds of other comics, and of course I'd always pick a Savage Sword or a Heavy Metal because there was so much content with those.
Right.
And I'd go home and read that cover to cover 3 or 4 times because it was so great. But what we were talking about was the fact that you never knew what issue you were going to get,
Yeah.
and you never got the next one, it seemed. So you'd read this story, it'd be in the middle of a story, and you're like, I got to try to, and as a kid, you didn't realize I need to track these down. And, back when we were kids, there weren't, like in Springfield, there weren't a lot of comic book stores, if there were any. I mean, I know Duckburg was around forever. But, so it was hard as a kid to try to find those complete stories. So that's why, as an adult, when I really got into buying comics and collecting comics, that was one of the things that I really focused on, was being a completist.
Right, right.
If I'm collecting a title, I'm collecting the entire thing.
So we just finished June, which was Men's Mental Health Month, and I get to talk to an expert about this. Of all of these wonderful characters, some of them are crazy.
Oh yeah,
arguably.
yeah.
Some of them are a little cuckoo. But which would you say would be the man that is most in need of some actual professional help? Get them into a weekly session or daily session with
hands
somebody.
Down, Rick from Rick and Morty. Come on. I mean, if anybody's watched Rick and Morty, this guy needs therapy. Next would be Harley Quinn, of course.
Okay, well, over Joker,
and then maybe Alice Cooper.
Well, yeah, I mean, we all knew that Alice was in need of help for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. I liked it. It was Harley. He threw Harley Quinn in there somehow, not Joker. I want y'all to notice that he said Harley, not Joker. So send the cards and letters to Josh Roberts, not me.
Some people are past help.
So now your story, I'm assuming, is what developed your sincere love of comics.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, just having that experience as a kid and being exposed to comics at that age, and the beauty of comics, and this is what a lot of people don't realize. The language in comics is usually above a child's vocabulary,
right?
A young kid's vocabulary. So when I was a kid, if I was reading a comic and I read something a word that I didn't understand, I would either go ask my parents what it meant, or I'd go look it up myself. So it helps develop your vocabulary, helps develop that intelligence that a lot of kids need at that age. So yeah, I mean. So
it's not just Batman beating up people.
No, and it's not just the pictures. I mean, I love the stories, and it helped me develop a better vocabulary. And
now, with your vast knowledge, and yes, we've talked many times. You guys have seen him on Fanatics and Fan. He has vast knowledge. Who would you say? What story? What's your go-to? If you want to, because like we binge watch everything. We have our binge watch league. What series do you have that you still read? Like you will pick that entire series up and read beginning and best story ever.
For me, there's a lot. The early Savage Sword of Conan stuff, obviously.
Okay.
I'll come back to that.
Yep.
The first Silver Surfer series from the 60s. It was 18 issues.
Wow.
It's a great series.
Yeah, it was. And yeah.
And it ends on a cliffhanger because at the end of the 18th issue, he decides he's going to destroy the world. And then they never go back to that. Like the next time you see the Silver Surfer, he's all happy and loves humanity again. So
it's like,
they just kind of ignored that part.
Forgot something.
But
head injury. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was a head injury.
In more modern sense, things like Fables and Saga are great epics. They're great worlds. Cullen Bunn's Six Gun is an amazing fantasy western that I reread very often. And so And then for me, it's all oddball stuff. Like Stray Bullets is another one by Dave Lapham that's great.
Okay.
And pretty much anything that Terry Moore does, I'm going to read. Strangers in Paradise and all
Right.
the stuff that he's done since then. So yeah, I mean, I've got a huge list of things that I'll always come back to.
So I was a big fan of Galactic Storm. I'm not sure if you remember that.
Oh, yeah, that was a great
That
story.
was a great issue. Actually, and that was one of the ones that made me like, all right, every crossover issue I'm buying.
Oh yeah.
But they were written that way, right? That's
They
that's
were.
why the crossover TV shows and
Yes.
stuff like that are so popular, and they're almost written in the same kind of vein.
Oh yeah, and that's the beauty of it. The TV shows that they're doing now are serial. They're sequential, and so
Right.
they want you to continue on with the next one and the next one and the next one. I mean beyond their own series. Like all of the stuff that started off with Netflix that's now been brought back into
Right.
Marvel with the Defenders and Luke Cage and Daredevil and Jessica Jones. They wanted you to go from Daredevil to Jessica Jones and from Jessica Jones to Luke Cage.
Right.
And that's the way they wrote them. And I think it's great.
Yeah. So now let me ask you this, and let you get back to work. Who's the greatest Avenger? Please note, fans, that there was a huge amount of hesitation while he thought about it. So he doesn't have one locked in. So clearly, it's not Captain America.
Genisvel, Captain Marvel's son. Oh, there you go.
Now, why
I'm
that?
a big Cosmic Marvel fan, so that's
Now,
why.
why that's important is the Marvel's trailer just came out, and I've already said several times, meh. so good luck to Kevin Feige and all of what he's trying to do with the Marvels.
Right.
I despise every bit of it. Freely admit it. Feel free to write me, Kevin. I don't care. I'm not scared of you. But it's just he could do better.
He's not scared of anyone. So
Yeah. Dad, don't listen to him. Folks, this is Hawk with Fanatics and the Fan. Josh Roberts out here at Tremendicon. We'll be able to see you at VisionCon?
no, I won't
No?
be at VisionCon.
Where will we see you next?
In town, I don't know.
Look for Josh. He's always around. Of course, pop culture icon, Brand New Pop Culture Icon award winner. He is an icon in his town. He will talk nerd with you.
I will.
We talked to Golden Age Nerd for like an hour and a
I
half
love it.
last night.
Come and talk to me.
Josh Roberts out here at Tremendicon with Hawk, Fanatics, and the Fan.